Coming up in this special edition of In My Own Words, we have father and son Luke Williams and actor from Tyler Perry's House of Pain, Palmer Williams Jr., to talk about family and finances. You'll hear a great conversation about how the family comes together to plan for their finances in a household right after this. Welcome to the special edition of In My Own Words. Today we are talking about college and money. And my guests today, I have Luke Williams and I have Palmer Williams Jr. here with me. And we're going to have a good family conversation. Let's talk about family and college and money. So with that, I want to start off with you, Luke. So tell me a little bit, what were some of your early memories of those financial conversations with your parents?
Well, I want to say those specifically surrounding college started around the age of 12 when my sister went to college, and it kind of was like when it got real for them, it got real for me. I had to start building my own resume, start marketing myself in a way to be appealing to those scholarships and different things that I had to build up to.
Nice. So kind of being the youngest, it kind of you had to get it just by force, huh?
Right. Definitely.
Okay. Early conversations. What would you say for you at what age, even with your oldest child, at what age did you start to have those conversations, Palmer, about college?
I think it was around 8th grade, 7th, 8th grade, started looking at coming back from doing a lot of road work in entertainment and starting to look at my kids like, whoa, we have 3 now. And it won't be long when you think about 12 years old going to 18, it's a 6-year gap, and I felt like I was behind financially saving for them. And that's actually when I started their 529 plan right around that time. And I was able to put an equal amount in each one of their accounts. And I would say without it, I would have been in a world of hurt, or somebody may not have been able to go to college. Or there may have been some sort of delayed re-entry due to the financial strain it would have put on the family had we not prepared for it. So in hindsight, I wish I had put probably twice as much in there initially, and it would have even been that much more beneficial now, with all 3 of them being in college at the same time, but 2 getting ready to graduate at the same time. So that will lift an amazing responsibility off, because I don't want to call it a burden, even though it will hurt and sting when you're doing it, but it's still, I know that my children are advancing in their journey in life.
Nice, congratulations.
Thank you.
And what did those conversations look like?
Oh, those conversations were mainly between my wife and I. We had hashed it out before we started talking with them, but we thought we were handling it all, and but my wife is such a research type of person. She had all types of scholarships from different organizations, and Luke can even tell you that she stayed on him about, you need to follow up with this person, you need to follow, and I would be sitting back off and like, man, you better go on and do it, because your mama gonna keep on you, and then she's gonna talk to me about why you won't do it. And I know you've already heard those conversations, but they were still kind of civil, but he did the work. So what she did do, he may have done it in the 11th hour, to her taste or mine, because I know it was going to benefit me, because when it came down to that lump sum of money that had to be paid, all of that stuff is so important to do early and be open-minded about it and have those conversations with your children and letting them know that your work ethic and your grades and things like that are going to help us. There'll be possibly more vacations after you finish school, or while you're in school, if I'm not strapped to have to pay tuition or unnecessary expenditures, such as parking tickets, which we were discussing before, and books and things like that. I know you've had your experience with that. In the back of your mind as a parent, like, oh Lord, they busted a tire, or maybe somebody knocked off a mirror, or somebody hit the side of the car, maybe they ran into someone, and then you got insurance costs. All of that stuff, the accumulation of all of those different responsibilities can be very strenuous on the pocket and on the mind. Those conversations, we're like, hey, help daddy save some money to where I can bless you in other areas, because I would rather buy a car than pay for tuition.
For sure. Luke, what would you say, what did you appreciate most about the ways that your parents communicated with you about money and just financial responsibility?
Well, like he was touching on, my mother was definitely adamant about me filling out those scholarships and getting those done in time. And honestly, I needed a little bit of a push. Like, I was a little bit lazy with the scholarship process, but she definitely helped me get into shape on that. But another thing that they helped with those early financial conversations is that they allowed for, they realized, hey, you're 12 years old. Like, I understand that you're not going to college for another 6 years. So I want you to have your childhood. I want you to play the sport that you want, regardless of how much money it may cost for you to play that sport. I want you to do those things because I know that this is a good, like a decent part of your childhood, and it will be one of the things that you remember the most. But they still were like, okay, but remember, you got to get good grades in these classes. You got to join this or those clubs so that you can look this more competitive on this scholarship or on this application process for this college. So it was really, definitely, they were allowing me to have that childhood and pushing me to be the best.
He was a very good baseball player.
Okay.
And we did the whole travel ball thing. Mm-hmm. And I made a mistake and did travel ball on he and my other son at the same time. So at that point, my wife and I were basically roommates because we never saw each other, you know. Mm-hmm. But it was really a good bonding time mm-hmm. for both of us individually and collectively. And like he said, he was able to have some sort of sense of normalcy on his childhood because went on and once he left the baseball arena, jumped over into music and theater, you know, and so that was after my own heart, you know, and I didn't push him in that area. He basically, I guess, being around it enough and making the decision on his own and found out that he had the aptitude and the talent to do it. So it was a very pleasant surprise that he opted to do those things, and it was, I think I probably enjoyed it more than he did. He said he enjoyed it immensely and still does, but it's just the pride of seeing your child doing some things that you already have done as a career and that you love to do.
Yeah. And Palmer, how do you, when you think about that balance of like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we got to instill financial responsibility because you're helping with this process, right?
Right.
And you're going to take on a big portion of getting the grades and doing what's necessary to get there. But then also just providing that balance of, hey, you're still a child. We want you to enjoy your childhood, and not put too much pressure on a child. How did you balance that with all three of your children?
Well, one of the things was I have three totally different children. You know, they do have a common core, but I wanted my children to be allowed to be themselves, for one, and find themselves. Because, you know, even at my age, I'm still finding myself. I have a pretty good idea of who I am, but, you know, at their age, they are, you know, trying to still yet find out who they really want to be and that productive citizen in life. I also explained to them that you have the luxury of learning, and you have the luxury of choosing what you want to do for your life right now. You know, and it may change, you know, because happenstance of life and everything. But they were able to have this balance of academia as well as entertainment as well as, you know, extracurricular activities. And it makes them more well-rounded. Mm-hmm. You know, if I just said like finance, oh, we ain't got the money, we can't do this, and I would go out and find it, you know, because I didn't want to see that little sad face telling me that, you know, we can't do it, Dad. You know, it's like, no. And plus, each parent always wants to give better than what they may have gotten. It's supposed to always grow each generation. So to have that balance and having that blessing of being able to allow them to be children and not grow up too fast, but yet having some adult conversations about what's to come as far as the finances and having a better understanding of how it works, how this whole family dynamic works as far as providing for and making it a successful family, you know, so to speak. Those types of conversations helped to where I think now all of them are well-rounded, they're well-versed in a lot of different areas, and they don't all of a sudden wake up and like, well, all I knew about was finances, and now I don't even know how to enjoy myself. I'm socially inept. I can't deal with other people. I don't know what to do with my hands. You know, everything. You know, yeah. It's just you're now able to be someone that everybody else wouldn't mind being around. or being associated with.
Yeah.
And I think that I am confident enough that my children can go in any environment and represent their family well, represent God, and represent themselves to a place where they won't embarrass me or themselves.
Nice. Love that, man. I love that. Luke, was there ever a point, I noticed, the conversations around college, student loan debt, how expensive college has become, it's kind of led a lot of people to, the enrollment numbers started to drop. A lot of people decided like, hey, this, we can find alternative routes.
Right.
Was there ever a point for you where you considered like, maybe not college, or, maybe I could take an alternative route and begin to start making money earlier?
Definitely. I mean, I kind of had to have a conversation with myself. Like, if I don't get the grades that I necessarily want, or I'm not able to get the amount of money that I need to, I could maybe take a gap year, or I could, join the military, join the armed forces. But mainly, the main thing for me, since college has been instilled in my household since I was a very young age, kind of the alternative routes within college, whether choosing between a privatized university or a public university, or an out-of-state school and an in-state school, because in-state schools, they have Hope and Zell Miller, and receiving those scholarships helped tremendously. While an out-of-state school, I will not get those scholarships, so I'd have to pay tuition and room and board out of pocket. So just choosing between the more expensive universities versus the more affordable ones, while still optimizing the amount of education I can receive.
Okay.
Yeah, he also was accepted at another school, and it was a full ride there. It was out of state, and they even had a stipend. But then you think about the distance, and I know my nerves and him driving back and forth 3.5 hours, at the University of Alabama. And of course, that was a desire of mine. But in retrospect, when I look at it now at this first semester, I was able to probably see him 6 or 7 times during this semester because it's so much closer. And I felt more confident about him driving back and forth because, he's 18. He's been a legal driver for 2 years. And yet, being a transient student back and forth, that I think I was a little bit more pleased with the fact that he did choose Georgia to be a little bit closer to home, and get a chance to see him a little bit more often, and we feel a little bit better about this 18-year-old driving off to college for the first time. And so it helps with the nerves and my knees when I'm praying. So it turned out to be a very good look, and like I said, we get to see him more often.
Right. Okay. Luke, being you'll be the last one to finish college, right? Mm-hmm. How does that responsibility feel for you? What do you take on a responsibility or feel like an ownership to have to finish?
Well, I mean, finishing strong has kind of been one of my dad's mottos since I was a small child. So just being able to get through the coursework, get the degree I want, and just finally be able to start pursuing the path and the career that I'm destined to go on I have a responsibility to finish, but I also have an excitement to finish, because I'm excited to see where my path will go, and I'm excited to see what I have in store for myself and what I have in store for the world and the people around me.
Nice. What would you say, Palmer? What's something that really worked in the process of preparing for college for 3 children? Mm-hmm. Now, you said two graduating, one
just starting.
Finishing up, right, just getting started. Mm-hmm. What's something that's worked throughout this process in preparing as a parent?
Definitely prayer and a great wife who is, like I said, I can't speak on it enough of how much research and how much ease it has been for me, because she's done the work and has pushed the kids along with me to do the work, and the work is paying off. All of the research, and I think some of the statistician type things and talents and gifts she passed on to Luke, because he's quite the statistician when it comes to the sports arena, and not just in one or two, but in several. Mm-hmm. If he finds an interest in it, he does the research, and he can rattle off all of these different stats of people. He's constantly telling me this person is doing this. I'm like, oh, okay. And it would be my favorite team, and he's telling me who all's there. He can tell me just about each one of the athletes where they started, sometimes in middle school, because he's done the research. And I'm like, where do you get time to do this? Now, I used to be really, really angry about him playing this gaming system and stuff like that. But what I found out, that is part of the reason why he's so in depth into that, and because of his communications degree and what's the degree? What I'm not saying. Public relations and stuff like that. He plans on doing, I think it's the Double Dog program at Georgia, where you can in 5 years get your master's. So nice. That's another part of the excitement for him, to be able to do that and to go on and prayerfully become an attorney or to become a sports agent. And so, like I was telling him, brother, that's a very good idea, because 4% of a $256 million contract is a good day, which I believe that the gentleman from Philadelphia Eagles acquired something like that, I believe it was. And so his agent, an African-American sister that I think he knew in college, which is why I said in another segment that, you know, those people that you meet in college can be lifelong, be a reason, season, or a lifetime while you have those people in your life. But with him, he's at a D1 school where athletes are plenty. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember you back in school. Oh, you're an agent. Oh, wow. You know, I'm looking for an agent. I'm getting ready to go and, you know, I'm getting ready to sign this contract. And, you know, I want to go higher in the draft. And then someone of his statistician mindset and getting the things together, and then having a brother that's a film major. You know, they put the reel together and all that kind of stuff, and then a theater major is his sister. You know, maybe she can help to script it out. It's almost as if my children are coming to their own, and it's all coming full circle, and I've always dreamed of having a family business. And so now the family business is pretty much entertainment, because sports is entertainment. Yeah. You know, so it's, I'm looking forward to seeing in 10 years where we are, and you know, everybody's graduated and done whatever they had to do and done their matriculations at the various universities, but I just want to be able to produce some very God-fearing and upwardly mobile human beings that will be able to change the world, you know, and that's my legacy, you know.
Sound like finishing strong is still part of the process, right? Never stop.
Gotta finish strong and show people why you're here. Because sometimes some of the doors that he's been in is only like, well, how did this happen? Only by God's grace and because you did the work. And that's why you're here. So when he used to get up on the mound to pitch, I'd say, hey, show him why you're here. Show him why you're here. Why are you in this position to win this game? Because they have confidence in you. Because you've done the work. Show them why you're here. You know, and prove to them that they didn't make a mistake when they chose you.
Love that. 10 years from now, we get to see exactly what's going on. Earlier than that, yeah. with the Williams family.
Yeah, man.
We'll see exactly why they're here.
God is faithful.
Appreciate that. And thank you. And in my own words, that is our special edition where we focus on college and money. Again, Luke Palmer, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Harris.